Have you ever wondered why some people seem to grow steadily throughout their careers while others, despite years of experience, appear to stand still? Perhaps the difference isn't talent, education, or opportunity. Perhaps it's that one person found mentors who challenged, encouraged, and believed in them, and eventually became that kind of leader for others. Welcome to Coaching Talks, folks. Every week, we explore one practical leadership challenge and discover ways to lead with greater confidence, effectiveness, and purpose in today's workplace. At its core, leadership reflects the integration of how we think, act, and live across business, work, and life. Performance leadership, however, is about aligning people, purpose, and process to achieve meaningful and sustainable results. It begins within and becomes visible throughout the way we serve, communicate, and help others succeed. My own leadership journey has taken me through several different seasons. It began with years of formation under the Benedictine monks, continued through executive leadership in the public sector, expanded through more than 4 decades of consulting and leadership development, and now continues as I build and learn within the digital world. One reason and one lesson has remained constant throughout the journey. Leadership comes through practice. On Mondays, our conversations take place through the listening heart, where we explore how the gospel shapes the way we live and lead. And on Fridays, Digital Marketing Secrets focuses on adaptive leadership for today's online entrepreneur. And today, our attention turns to the workplace. Hello, folks. I'm Richard Fontanie, and I'll be your host today. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're returning, it's wonderful to have you back. Now, before we begin, if you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to do so. And thank you for becoming part of the growing Fontanie Magazine e-learning community. Although Coaching Talks focuses on leadership in traditional places, remember that every one of us influences someone. Leadership isn't confined to management positions. Every conversation, every decision, and every relationship provides an opportunity to help another grow. Now, today's topic is mentoring for growth and giving and receiving guidance effectively. What separates a mentor who develops confident people from one who simply creates dependence? Now, that's the question I'd like us to explore together today. Great mentors don't create followers. They develop confident leaders who are prepared to mentor others. And that single idea has shaped much of my thinking about leadership over the years. Now, before we get into the topic today, I wish to point out that mentoring is not coaching. The words mentor and coach are often used interchangeably, but they serve different purposes. A coach usually focuses on improving performance. Coaching is often goal-oriented, structured, and designed to help someone develop a specific skill or overcome a particular challenge. A coach asks questions, provides feedback, and helps individuals reach measurable objectives. A mentor, on the other hand, it takes a longer view. Mentoring is about developing the whole person. A mentor shares experience, offers perspective, opens doors, encourages resilience, and sometimes simply provides reassurance during difficult times. Both are valuable. The strongest leaders understand when someone needs coaching and when someone needs mentoring. And sometimes they need both. Now, many of you know that I like to incorporate strategies into these podcasts. And today is no different. Today's strategies are all about mentoring that you can begin immediately. So let's get going. The first strategy is to invest in the person before the position. The finest mentors I have known were never primarily interested in helping someone earn a promotion. They wanted people to become wiser, more confident, and more capable human beings. Positions eventually changed, but character remains. Now, I've worked with senior executives who weekly with several emerging leaders. They rarely spent the entire conversation discussing projects or deadlines. Instead, he asked questions about work-life balance, personal growth, decision-making, and relationships. Notice that he asked personal development questions rather than those that would fall under the heading of technical training. Many of those same individuals credited these conversations for being the turning point in their leadership journey. Why? Because someone invested in them as people. Great mentoring begins here. The second strategy is to create safe conversations. Growth requires honesty, and honesty requires trust. And trust grows when leaders create environments where people feel safe enough to ask questions, admit mistakes, and explore new ideas without fear of embarrassment. One of the fastest ways to stop learning is to create a culture in which people believe they must always appear competent. The opposite is also true. When leaders admit they don't have all the answers, they give everyone else permission to keep learning. I've discovered that some of the best mentoring conversations begin with a leader saying something surprisingly simple. Like, tell me how you're really doing. Now, those 6 words often open doors that performance reviews never do. We often think of mentoring as something reserved for senior executives or formal leadership programs. In reality, mentoring happens every day, often in quiet conversations that never appear on an organizational chart. A strong mentor often offers a few encouraging words after difficult meetings. Takes the time to explain not only what to do, but why it matters. Helps someone see strengths that have not recognized in themselves. Now, these moments rarely make headlines, yet they often shape careers. And that is why mentoring remains one of the most important responsibilities of everyday leader. The third strategy is to share experience and not just answer questions. And one of the temptations for experienced leaders is to solve problems too quickly. After years in the workplace, we've probably seen similar situations before. We recognize patterns, anticipate obstacles, and often know what will happen next. It's tempting to simply tell someone what to do, but effective mentors resist that temptation. Instead of immediately giving answers, they share experiences. For example, they say such things as, I faced something similar several years ago, or here's what worked for me, or if I could change it again, here's what I might change. Notice the difference. The mentor isn't removing responsibility. They're providing perspective. The learner still owns the decision, and that's important because confidence grows through experience and not dependency. One of the most rewarding moments for any mentor is hearing someone say, "I made the decision myself," and that's growth. The fourth strategy is to encourage independent thinking. Now, strong mentors don't want people who always agree with them. They want people who learn to think critically. Healthy organizations need leaders who can analyze situations, ask thoughtful questions, respectfully challenge assumptions, and make sound decisions under pressure. And that requires courage. It also requires mentors who welcome different perspectives. During my consulting years, I occasionally observed senior leaders unintentionally limit the growth of promising employees by answering every question before anyone else had a chance to think. The lesson was simple, and sometimes the greatest leader's tool isn't another answer, and sometimes it's another question. What options do you see? What concerns that you have? What have you already considered? Questions develop judgment, and answers develop dependence. And great mentors know the difference. The fifth strategy is to mentor to multiply leadership. Perhaps the greatest measure of successful mentoring isn't how many people depend on us. It's how many people no longer need us because they've grown into confident leaders themselves. And that takes humility. Some leaders unconsciously relish being indispensable. Others find genuine joy in watching someone else succeed, even if that person eventually surpasses them. Now, those are the leaders that lead healthy organizations. They understand that leadership isn't about preserving influence, but about multiplying it. One leader investing in one emerging leader may eventually influence dozens, perhaps even hundreds of people over the years. And that's quite a legacy of mentoring. Now, here's a workplace story that brings these strategies together. Several years ago, I worked with an organization preparing for a significant retirement. Understandably, there was concern about losing valuable institutional knowledge. So I suggested this person undertake writing the history of the department, including procedures, the updating of manuals, and the recording of technical processes. Now, when I reflect back on this situation, I've concluded that those efforts were worthwhile, but they overlooked something important. Knowledge isn't transferred only through documents. It's transferred through relationships. If we had introduced a mentoring initiative that paired this employee with emerging leaders, we would have shifted the focus from a sole concentration on technical skills to relationship skills. We would have moved the person toward encouraging others to discuss decision-making, organizational culture, communication, customer relationships, and lessons learned through experience. And that would have added so much more to employees and to his retirement. I suspect that we would have seen the younger employees gain wisdom no manual could capture. And the mentor would have discovered fresh ideas, new technologies, and perspectives different from his own. We would have seen genuine two-way learning take place with productivity, collaboration, and trust all improved. It would have allowed the mentor to ease into retirement with renewed vigor. It would have shifted the situation from simply preserving knowledge to strengthening relationships. Now, that experience reinforced something I've come to believe as a principle. Organizations don't grow stronger because information is stored. They grow stronger because wisdom is shared. Now, as we finish today's conversation, I'd like to leave you with a simple challenge. Choose one person, not 5, not your entire department, just one person. Someone newer to the organization, someone facing a new responsibility, someone with tremendous potential who simply needs encouragement. Schedule a conversation. Ask more questions than you answer. Listen carefully. Share one experience, offer one piece of encouragement, and then stay connected. Mentoring isn't an event, it's a relationship, and small, consistent conversations often produce remarkable growth over time. Oh, and there's just one more thing, the learning lens. So what is today's leadership insight? Well, great mentors invest in people before positions. They understand that confidence grows through encouragement, thoughtful questions, and shared experience rather than constant instruction. What seemed to work well today? Well, today's discussion distinguished mentoring from coaching while highlighting the practical strategies that every leader can begin using immediately. It also reminded us that mentoring succeeds when relationships, not titles, become the foundation for growth. And what can you practice this week? Well, identify one individual you can intentionally encourage over the next 7 days. Schedule time to listen, ask thoughtful questions, and share one lesson from your own leadership journey. And as you think about this podcast, ask yourself this question: who helped shape your leadership? And who is waiting for you to help shape theirs? And finally, what is a key takeaway for today? Great mentors don't create followers. They develop confident leaders who are prepared to help someone else grow. Now, this brings this podcast into your next conversation, meeting, and coaching moment. Remember, leadership practiced one interaction at a time, and sustainable excellence is built in rhythms and not marathons. And if this conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, like, and share it with a colleague or a friend, and thank you for doing so. Until next time, remember, every conversation is an opportunity to lead, every decision is an opportunity to serve, and every day is an opportunity to grow. I'm Richard Fontanie, and this has been Coaching Talks. Please join me next Wednesday as we explore another leadership challenge. Leadership versus management. Understanding the difference that makes all the difference. Until then, keep investing in people. The returns last a lifetime. Bye now.